Welcome to History in 6, a place where we sample history in 6-minute increments. I'm your host, Tima Lindell, and today in our journey through the American Revolutionary War, we're going to take stock of where each side stood at the end of the first year of the war. Time is short, let's jump into it. The first year's campaign unfolded across New York and New Jersey. The British, under General William Howe, aimed to gain control of New York City and inflict a decisive defeat on the Continental Army. By controlling the Hudson River Valley, the British hoped to sever New England from the southern colonies. Washington, recognizing New York's strategic importance, sought to defend the city and maintain control of the vital waterways surrounding it. On August 27, 1776, the British outmaneuvered and overran the American defenses, inflicting heavy casualties in the Battle of Long Island. The inexperienced American forces were pushed back to Brooklyn Heights, suffering a significant defeat at the hands of the well-trained British forces. Nearly 1,000 Continental soldiers were killed or wounded. Another 1,000 were captured. A few weeks after losing Long Island, the Americans won a very small victory at the Battle of Harlem Heights on September 16th. A month later, on October 28th, the British once again defeated the Americans, this time at the Battle of White Plains, forcing Washington to retreat further north and west across the Delaware River. On November 16th, Fort Washington, a crucial American stronghold in Manhattan, fell to the British. Nearly 3,000 American soldiers were captured. Things were looking bleak for the Americans. But the tides began turning at the end of the year. In a daring move on December 26th, Washington crossed the Delaware River and surprised the Hessian garrison in Trenton, capturing nearly 900 soldiers. Washington followed up his offensive a few days later on January 3rd with a victory at Princeton, forcing the British to withdraw from much of New Jersey, holding up in New Brunswick for the winter. Casualties from the year-long struggle are not accurately known, but we do know that over 1,100 Americans were killed or wounded during the fighting. 1,300 British soldiers were killed or wounded. In addition to battlefield casualties, many American prisoners captured during the campaign were held on British prison ships in New York Harbor. These ships, often overcrowded and unsanitary, became known as floating coffins due to their extremely high mortality rates among the prisoners. But the impact wasn't just felt by the military sides. The war significantly impacted the civil population of New Jersey. The state, positioned between New York City and Philadelphia, became a central battleground with both armies vying for resources and support from locals. Civilians faced disruptions to their lives, homes and farms becoming targets of foraging parties. You never knew when your house was going to be in the middle of a battle, or soldiers were going to march across your lands. The constant movement of troops and the presence of opposing armies created a climate of fear, uncertainty among those living there. On top of that, communities themselves were divided. Some residents remained loyal to the British Crown. Others, they supported the fledgling American cause. This division often led to tensions and conflicts in towns, neighborhoods, even within families. So where did both sides stand after this first year of conflict? For the British, the campaign for New York and New Jersey was a disaster. Yes, they easily won most of their battles. Yes, they captured New York City, which gained them a strategic base, control of a vital port. But these early successes led to optimism and a belief that the rebellion could be quickly suppressed. The problem for the British is they failed to crush the Continental Army in these early days. If we throw in their setbacks at the end of the year in New Jersey, it prevented them from achieving that swift victory they sought, forcing the British to rethink their strategy. They began to realize that the war would be far longer, more challenging, and more costly than they initially believed. The Americans, on the other hand, gained valuable war experience and demonstrated their ability to withstand British offensives and launch successful counterattacks. Recognizing his army's limitations, Washington employed a Fabian strategy, one which avoided decisive battles, instead sought to wear down the British through attrition, strategic retreats. The goal was not to engage the British, but to prolong the conflict, exhaust the enemy's resources, and slowly but surely erode their morale, ultimately leading to a more favorable outcome for the far weaker and inexperienced Continental Army. And this campaign had a significant impact on the morale for the Americans. The initial British victories in New York led to desertions, dwindling support for the war effort. It shook Americans' confidence and raised doubts about their ability to win. Thomas Paine's The American Crisis captured this bleak outlook, stating, "These are the times that try men's souls." However, Washington's victories at Trenton and Princeton reversed this trend dramatically. These unexpected triumphs reinvigorated the American cause, boosting morale, inspiring new enlistments. The Continental Army demonstrated its resilience and ability to strike back against a superior force, instilling renewed hope and determination in the American people as the second year of the war was about to open. One which saw the British planning two major offensives for the year. The first was an ambitious plan to gain control of the Hudson River Valley. General John Burgoyne was going to lead a central thrust from Quebec down along Lake Champlain, striking into the heart of the northern colonies. The second operation was led by General Howe. His plan was simple. He set out to capture Philadelphia. Washington's goal was just to defend as best he could, and more importantly, survive to continue the battle for independence. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Subscribe to get future content, and as always, have a great day if you want to.